So, I'm Denise Gervais,
And I'm Christine Kale Rizagi.
and we are Soul Nectar. And today we are sitting in the Pacific Northwest hazy sun. And I wanted to put Christine on the spot a little bit in a most beautiful way, meaning that I have not talked to her at all about the questions that I'm going to ask her today. But I wanted her to share with me once again and with you her wisdom on this beautiful landscape that we have today of the marrying of ancient wisdom with really incredible, right now, brain science and the landscape that creates. And she knows so much about it. So I wanted her to share with you her answers to a few questions that I have that I think you'll enjoy her answers as much as I do. So with that, let's go, Christine.
Wow.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. That was quite
ready?
the introduction. I like it.
Yes. Well,
Beautiful.
so I want to talk about vibration, energy and vibration. It's definitely, they're buzzwords today. We hear it a lot. Don't bum my vibe, man.
Yeah.
How to raise your vibe. What exactly does that mean? Can you describe vibration and wherever else that takes you, and how it pertains to our life today?
Oh, well, that's a beautiful question with a lot of avenues that we could go down.
Yeah.
And that's really fun. I think for most people, they identify with the idea like differently. Like if you're in the streets, it's a vibe. If you're at church, it's like the Holy Ghost, the idea of the Holy Ghost. Nature, it's energy.
Yeah.
It's energy, right? It's the energy of nature. When you go in nature, and when you go in, you feel one way, and when you leave nature, you feel a totally different way, somatically, physically in your body. Like it chills you out,
Like chanting Om, the
Yeah.
vibration of nature.
Yes,
Which we did today in your class.
Which we did
Yeah.
today in class. And the vibration, the literal frequency of this vibration is something that's tangible to our body. Our body can sense it and resonate with it, becoming in tune with the vibration of nature.
How do we
How does that happen?
do that? Yeah.
Well, that's just something that's automatic. So it's just like anything, you have to practice in order to kind of become some, in anything, a baby has to learn how to walk. If you want to become an artist and, your art or your medium is drawing, then you have to learn how to draw.
Right.
And so with energy, it's very similar. Like you have to come in contact with that energy in order to begin to resonate at that level or that frequency. It's like a magnet. You become in tune with the energy when you're open to it, and then your body and your energy will begin to attune or harmonize with that energy. But you have to be open to it.
And how do you do that? How would somebody just saying like, okay, what can I do to open myself to get to raise to a higher vibration?
Well, I
Raise
think
my
you have
vibe.
to become aware of how autopilot you are in life. If you want to start somewhere, you want to become aware of what's going on in your mind, because your mind and your body communicate. And if your mind is always running, like we call the monkey mind in yoga, where you can't really sit still. Sitting still can be difficult with somebody with a monkey mind. We know that, you know, because the mind goes everywhere. Well, that happens in people's everyday lives. And so their monkey mind is running and not their intuition. And so that intuition is offline, and you have to practice becoming aware of that intuition and off of autopilot in order to be able to sense that.
So how do you do that?
How do you do that? So you have to practice
Three ways that I could
go in nature for an extended period of time. I would say grounding, creating a practice of grounding where you, if you can't go, let's say not all of us can go hike in the trails for 2 hours. So you can go sit outside and put your bare feet on the ground. Even if you just have a small area, you just have to be connected to some sort of natural substance, grass, rocks, anything that conducts energy, because the earth has a frequency called the Schumann resonance, and that resonance is 7.83 hertz. And our body and brain resonance, the frequency in which it is moving at, is very specific to that number that the earth produces. And so the body wants to vibrate when you're feeling happy and healthy and connected to life, and life is kind of in a flow state. You're also connected with the earth's vibration.
So there's like a good vibration out there kind of floating around.
Like a fish in water.
We have to feel the good feeling, follow the good feelings.
Yeah, you can follow the good feelings, but if you're I think the third thing I would say that's necessary, maybe not the third thing you can do, but one of the things that's necessary in order to understand this information is that you need to have a pretty clear understanding of how some of the systems of your body work. Like your nervous system, your endocrine system, and why that's important. So as we, continue this conversation, the nervous system is important to understand because it informs the endocrine system and it informs the brain what to say. And so the endocrine system responds by what the nervous system is telling the brain. And so if you don't know, and your endocrine system is your glandular system, the system of hormones that pumps through the body, that is actually how we feel things. Like when we feel happy, we feel one way, and when we feel sad, we feel another way.
Okay.
That somatic feeling in the body. And so, like, when you understand that your thoughts have something to do with how you feel, then you start to become inquisitive about how to figure out what thoughts are actually running through your mind. And once you realize how important that is, that one thing, do you have an inner critic or an inner advocate?
Woo! Yeah.
That's the question. Thank you, Robin. Robin Arzon from Peloton. I love her. Everybody knows that. She's my inner voice, and I love her. But that's one of her sayings, is like, what do you have inside? Is it an inner critic? Become aware of it. You need to get rid of the inner critic and become the inner advocate.
Robin.
Yeah, I love Robin. And that really resonated with me, because when I went through a difficult time in my life, I was really an inner critic during those years. And the critic was the victim, the victim mentality, the excuses you use in order to not change, which is probably, if you're listening to this, it's probably the story you're telling yourself. And I'm sorry to say that, but unfortunately, that's kind of how it is. The story we tell ourselves is the excuses our nervous system and brain and body use in order to keep us safe, because remember, that is the goal of the nervous system, is to keep the body and the brain safe. So when we're on autopilot and we have all these automatic processes happening, all these automatic systems happening, we actually become, we go from the driver's seat to the back seat. And so then we spend most of our lives, a lot of times people spend their whole life in that passenger seat or that back seat, and not in the driver's seat. And so when you become aware of energy, frequency, and vibration, you tap into an access point that allows you to hijack that automated system and become the driver of your own vehicle, or your own body, your own mind-body system, because it is something separate than you.
It is like plugging in to universal energy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's so...
Well, this is a little different path down that regarding frequency and vibration, but this was a question I wanted to ask you. You told me a little about it quite a while ago, but how frequency and sound and the immense power that it has, and that even Hitler had discovered that.
That story. It's hard to find that. Like, I went, after we talked about that, I was like, I want to look at that story and make sure I say it correctly. But it is my understanding that Hitler he took over the airwaves when he was in power, and played music with inharmonic frequencies, which basically, if you've seen a movie, you know how they use sound to induce a feeling. So if it's a thriller or a scary movie, you go to like a minor chord. And if you're in music, you're using a minor chord, and it literally, if you look at the frequencies that there's so every feeling you have in your body is a different frequency. And so when you start to look into those,
for instance, the emotion of love has a
438 hertz.
Okay. What about the emotion of like envy or
you're going to be below 200. So 200 is like baseline from like where you're in creation versus survival. So in living versus
surviving, getting by,
or dying, going backwards. You're like, you're really like moving down, and you don't have to. I said earlier that you have to have a big knowledge of. I didn't mean a big knowledge of like mental health stuff, but if you can understand a little bit more about what mental health really is, and understand it in a way, you can begin to understand why you vibrate at the feeling you're feeling. And then you have, again, the access point when it comes to understanding how the actual frequency and vibration and energy work from an outside perspective, like how it literally penetrates your aura and your electromagnetic field, which is like a subtle energy that you're swimming in, it's you begin to have a clear understanding of different ways. You don't have to, I'm stuttering here because I want to say it correctly.
Yeah, take your time.
Like, there's lots of different ways to access energy. So it might be through talking, or it might be through movement. It might be through eating, or it might be through dreaming. It might be, there are so many different ways in which we as human beings exist. And now making love. Yeah, I mean, all of those things. So, and all of those things are really important. So once we realize we're in harmony with the earth and in harmony with our thoughts, and we're in harmony with the universe, and everything in nature is in a patterned relationship with each other. You start to understand how you can access nature to get to that higher vibration if you're not somebody who enjoys, I don't know, talk therapy or something. You can access this through other ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I want people to know, because not everybody, like, I think some people sometimes get stuck there in the talking. And I think that is something that needs to be addressed. Most people need an understanding, and then once you have a basis of it, you have to start to apply what you learned in therapy, and then not get stuck in therapy, because I see a lot of people get kind of stuck in therapy.
Well, even one of the most simple sounding options, like simply going and sitting in nature, being quiet, and that's
an access
that's
point.
tapping into the vibration of the universe. That, when you're quiet and you listen and you realize how much is going on around you.
Man.
And then there's the chakras.
Yeah. And then there's the
chakras.
chakras.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. I like that. Well, that's it's so, you can sense the vibe of anything, and once you spend time exercising that sense.
Yeah. Well, when you think about just being in a room, just practice it, like being in a room and somebody walks in and you're just paying attention to your natural reaction to their vibration. And then what you taught me about the heart sensing before the senses, the brain.
The Heart Math Institute .org.
Like, follow, subscribe.
Yeah. Heart Math. They did some really cool studies with people, and they had them sit in these computer labs, basically, and in front of a computer, and the computer would flash different scenes, and they had monitors on their brain and their heart, and what they found out is that the heart actually produced a signal to the brain before the brain sent a signal to the heart on how to react to the image on the screen. So if it was like a person suffering, the heart would beat at a frequency of empathy.
Like electromagnetic messages.
Right.
Messaging.
And people's resonance value, or whatever you want to call it, everybody's different, right? We all have different gifts. So some people empathize with different things differently.
Yeah.
And so, but they were able to see that in I don't know the exact percentage, but in a high majority of these this study, the heart was responding first, which told them that the heart senses what's on. The energy of the heart chakra senses what's on the screen and tells the brain how to react, how to tell it to react, how to tell the heart to react, So your heart chakra takes in the information. It's a vibration of information. You see a scene, your eyeballs are literally little baby brain. That's part of your brain. Little baby brains, you know?
Yeah.
So the brain takes a snapshot of it, sends it to the brain, but by that time the heart has already sent a signal to the brain. Yeah.
Well, and
like 6 seconds before, it's like it was some obscene number. Sorry, that was the coolest part about it.
I was thinking about how
probably not
how
6
I
seconds,
can sense the vibe of a telephone call.
Yes. Same thing.
I know if it's my daughter.
Yes.
And there's no change in the ring.
No.
Perhaps.
No.
But there's a vibration that's sent out from her intention to call me that I feel.
And your vibrations as mother and daughter are always connected because she came out of your body. So it doesn't matter, because those vibrations work in the ether where everything is like right next to you, right here.
Yeah.
Everything is right here. So even if she was on the other side of the world and she was going to call you, you would still get the vibration just as you would if she was at school.
Bing. Yeah.
I love that. So cool.
Yeah. Good vibration. We had to play some
That's good
surf
song.
music.
Yeah.
Some good vibration. Raise our vibes.
Raise
Come
our
back
vibes.
online.
Well, I love that idea. That's another. There's a third really easy way to access a different or higher vibration.
Surf.
Yeah. Definitely go surfing.
Julie, that's for you, Aziza.
Right? Turn on good music that makes you happy. That changes your internal vibration.
Oh, instantaneous. That's probably my number one. That's the number one in life vibe changer. Just boom.
Environment. Your environment is more important to you than your. Don't quote me on that, but it's probably more important than your DNA in terms of how it accesses your genetics, how you your environment. They're starting to realize that the environment, that's what epigenetics is all about, but that they're starting to learn that the environment your body's in, the environment your cells are in, the blood makeup, is it alkaline or acidic? Where you spend your time, all of those things are super duper important to the expression of your genes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not more important than your DNA. It's just
Hear that?
comparative
Pacific
to.
Northwest rain.
Yes.
My genes are being suppressed.
Not right now, they're not.
No
Look at
way,
this gorgeous.
no. We're in summer mode. Ooh la la.
It's so pretty out here.
Well, should we take a little break then? And
Yeah.
well, thank you for listening, and we hope you get smarter. That's a joke. That's a joke. No, we hope you tune in to Soul Nectar to practice the art of living and become a better human and explore the depths of all the beautiful and simple things that ancient wisdom has to offer, as well as our modern brain science and the lovely Christine Kale, who weaves it all together in such a beautiful way.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. That was really
Me too.
nice. Yeah.
Namas.